Have you ever started a workout with the best intentions, only to wake up the next morning feeling more sore, stiff, or downright discouraged than you expected? Maybe you told yourself, "I'm just trying to stay active. Why does it feel like I'm doing more harm than good?" If that's ever crossed your mind, you're not alone. In fact, it's something I hear all the time. As we get older, staying active becomes even more important. But here's the thing no one tells you enough: how you move matters just as much as the fact that you're moving. Exercise is supposed to help you feel stronger, steadier, more alive, not injured, drained, or anxious about whether you're doing it right. And unfortunately, many older adults end up with avoidable aches, pains, and even injuries just because they're making a few common mistakes that no one ever warned them about. That's why today, we're going to talk about 5 exercise mistakes that older adults often make and how to avoid them. These aren't complicated fixes, and they don't require special equipment or fancy routines. But making just a few small changes in how you approach exercise can completely change how you feel in your body and how confident you are in your movement. Let's start with something that's incredibly common but rarely talked about: skipping the warm-up. It's easy to think, "I'm just doing a light walk or a few stretches, I don't need to warm up." But the truth is, after 60, our muscles and joints need more time to get going. That gentle warm-up isn't just about preparing your body, it's about preventing injury. You wouldn't start your car and floor the gas pedal right away, right? Your body works the same way. When you ease into movement with some slow arm circles, shoulder rolls, or even just a few minutes of walking in place, you're telling your body, "Hey, it's time to move safely." You're increasing blood flow, waking up your muscles, and letting your joints ease into action without shock or strain. And when you skip that, that's when you get those sharp knee twinges, sore lower backs, or stiff necks the next day. It doesn't have to be a full routine. Just 3 to 5 minutes of gentle movement can make all the difference. Now let's talk about another big one: doing too much, too soon. I get it. You want to feel strong, you want results, and maybe you've decided it's time to get serious about your fitness. But here's the catch: your body thrives on consistency, not intensity. I've seen so many well-meaning folks jump straight into a workout program meant for someone half their age. Maybe it's a boot camp class, a YouTube routine labeled beginner that still includes burpees, or just trying to walk double the distance you're used to. The heart's willing, but the joints, ligaments, and balance sometimes aren't quite there yet. The result? You're sore for days, or worse, you tweak something and then avoid exercise altogether for weeks, starting the cycle all over again. Progress isn't about pushing harder, it's about knowing your pace. Start where you are. Maybe that's 5 minutes of movement, or maybe it's a half-mile walk. That's not less than. That's smart. That's sustainable. I always say, motion with intention beats intensity without preparation, every time. There's also something subtle that catches many people off guard: ignoring balance and stability. We often focus on cardio or strength, but forget that balance is a muscle too, and one that needs to be trained, especially as we age. You might not notice your balance slipping until you suddenly catch yourself reaching for walls more often, or stumbling when stepping off a curb. It sneaks up. But the great thing is that with just a few minutes a day, you can make huge improvements. Gentle exercises like standing on one foot near a countertop, or stepping side to side slowly while holding onto a chair, build strength in your ankles, hips, and core, the trio that keeps you steady and safe. When you don't train balance, your risk of falling goes way up. And as you know, even one fall can change your independence and quality of life. So adding just a few minutes of balance work to your day is one of the most powerful investments you can make. And it doesn't have to feel like a chore. You can do it while brushing your teeth, waiting for the kettle to boil, or watching the evening news. It becomes part of your routine, something you do without thinking, but that protects you in ways most people don't realize until it's too late. These first few changes, warming up, pacing yourself, and building balance, aren't flashy, but they're foundational. They lay the groundwork for safer, more enjoyable movement at any age. And once you start making these adjustments, you'll likely notice something shift, not just in your body, but in how you feel about exercise. Less dread. Less fear. More confidence. More joy. Now that we've set that foundation, let's keep going. So now that you're easing into your workouts with a proper warm-up, taking things at your own pace, and making balance a priority, you're already doing more than most. And I mean that sincerely. Most people don't think about these things until something goes wrong, but here you are, taking steps to move smarter, not just harder. That deserves credit. But there's another trap that catches a lot of folks off guard, especially when they've been doing the same routine for years. It's something many of us don't notice until it leads to pain or plateaus, and that's poor form or technique, especially during strength exercises or stretches. Now don't worry, I'm not talking about perfection. You don't need to look like a fitness model or move like a dancer. But moving with awareness is key. I've seen it over and over again, someone doing a simple bicep curl or squat, but they're leaning too far forward, or jerking the movement, or locking their joints. These tiny mistakes add up, especially on aging joints. Let's say you're doing squats. If your knees shoot forward past your toes or you're rounding your back, even slightly, you might not notice it right away. But do that a few times a week for a few months, and suddenly your knees or lower back are talking to you in ways you don't like. The same goes for overhead movements. Lifting your arms too high or too fast can cause shoulder impingements, especially when flexibility is reduced. So what can you do about it? Start by slowing down. It's not a race. Moving slowly allows you to feel the movement. Are you stable? Are you using the right muscles? Are your joints aligned? When in doubt, do the movement in front of a mirror or ask a friend or trainer to check your form. And if a move ever causes sharp pain or discomfort, that's your body's way of saying, let's adjust. If you're working with light weights or resistance bands, the rule of thumb is, if you can't do the movement in a slow, controlled way, it's probably too heavy or too advanced for now, and that's perfectly okay. It's not about lifting more, it's about lifting better. And that leads me to something that's very close to my heart, because I see it happen far too often, neglecting recovery and rest. I know, it sounds counterintuitive. You're finally in a rhythm, finally making movement a habit, and now I'm saying, slow down again? But here's the truth, recovery isn't about being lazy. It's part of the plan. As we get older, our muscles and joints take a little longer to bounce back after a workout. And if we don't give them that time, they can become inflamed, overused, or strained. Have you ever noticed soreness that lingers longer than usual, or felt more tired than you expected after a simple walk? That's your body asking for a break. And rest doesn't mean lying on the couch all day, although there's nothing wrong with that from time to time. It can mean taking a gentle stretching day, going for a slow walk instead of a cardio session, or simply skipping the weights to focus on mobility. Sleep plays a role too. That's when your body does its best repair work. So if you've been skimping on rest, it might be why your body isn't responding the way you want it to. Recovery gives you the energy and strength to keep going, which is what it's all about. Sometimes, we have this mentality that if we're not sweating or sore, the workout didn't count. But let me tell you right now, it counts. That yoga session where you focused on your breath? It counts. That walk through the park where you stopped to enjoy the flowers? It counts. That extra hour of sleep instead of pushing through a workout when your body felt tired? It counts too. We're not training for a marathon here, we're training for life. To keep moving, playing with grandkids, carrying groceries, walking upstairs, staying independent. That's the real goal. And to do that, you need to move well, but also rest well. So take this as a kind reminder, if you feel like you need a rest day, you probably do. And if your body's telling you something doesn't feel right, listen. It's wiser to adjust your routine than to push through and end up sidelined for weeks. All of these little choices, the warm-up, the pace, the balance work, the mindful movement, the rest, they come together to create a body that not only can move, but that wants to move. And that's the goal. You deserve to feel strong, stable, and free in your own body, not sore, frustrated, or scared of getting hurt. And as we continue, We'll build on this strong foundation by looking at one more mistake that often flies under the radar, but might just be the most important one to correct. You've already taken in so much, and I'm proud of you for sticking with me. That says a lot about your commitment to taking care of yourself. We've talked about warming up, pacing yourself, paying attention to balance, using good form, and the importance of recovery. These are all physical habits, but now, let's look at something just as critical, maybe even more so. And that's the mindset you bring to exercise. It might surprise you, but one of the most common and damaging mistakes older adults make with fitness has nothing to do with the body, and everything to do with expectations. It's the belief that I'm too old to exercise, or I'll never be able to move like I used to, so what's the point? That mindset can quietly take root, especially if you've had an injury in the past, or you compare yourself to how things used to be 20 or 30 years ago. And I get it. It's frustrating when your body doesn't move the same way, or when something that used to feel easy suddenly requires more effort. But here's what I want to tell you from the heart: you are never too old to get stronger, steadier, and more capable. You might not be sprinting or lifting heavy weights, and you don't need to be. What matters is progress that you can feel. Maybe that means you're able to go up and down stairs without needing the railing. Maybe your back doesn't ache as much after gardening. Maybe your balance has improved so you feel more confident walking on uneven ground. These wins matter. They are real, and they deserve to be celebrated. The idea that aging means slowing down and giving up on movement is outdated and, frankly, dangerous. The truth is, the more we move, the more we maintain, not just muscle and bone, but independence, dignity, and joy. And all of that is worth fighting for. But you have to believe that it's possible. You have to give yourself permission to start where you are, no matter where that is, and know that forward is forward, whether it's a big leap or a tiny shuffle. So if you've been holding back because of fear, doubt, or discouragement, let this be your moment to let that go. You are still capable. You are still in charge of your body. You are not broken or too far gone. You're just a little wiser now. And with that wisdom comes the chance to move smarter, not harder, and to get better results because of it. So let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered today, not as a list to memorize, but as a shift in how you approach your movement going forward. You warm up because your body deserves a gentle, safe start. You pace yourself because consistency is more powerful than intensity. You include balance because you want to stay steady and sure-footed. You move with awareness and care because form is your body's best friend. You rest and recover because you've earned it, and it's part of your strength. And most of all, you believe in your ability to improve because your mindset is the foundation that supports every other part of this journey. If this message resonated with you, if it gave you even one small aha moment, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments what part hit home for you. Or maybe share a story about how you've overcome an obstacle with exercise. You never know who else you might inspire by sharing. And if this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up so more people like you can find it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell. We've got plenty more videos coming to help you feel strong, mobile, and in control of your health, no matter your age. Just remember, this isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up for yourself with kindness, patience, and a little curiosity. It's about progress over perfection, and strength that starts from within. So go ahead. Lace up your shoes, stretch your arms, take a breath, and move forward, literally and figuratively. Because no matter where you are in your fitness journey, the best time to take care of your body is always right now. Here's to fewer aches, more strength, better balance, and most of all, to living your best life, one confident step at a time.